IBANZ College is here today to record an interview with Ben Waymouth, who's the Deputy Managing Director of Vero Liability, on the subject of critical thinking. And thanks, Ben, for your time.
A pleasure, Phil.
Ben, what are your thoughts on the author's definition of critical thinking?
I agree with the author's definition of critical thinking, and I think it has real application and relevance to the New Zealand insurance industry. If we look at our industry and what we're all about, it's about gathering information from New Zealand companies and businesses and applying that to the insurance market to find a solution. The process of doing that is what's important, and that's where critical thinking comes into play. It's about gathering that information, not taking it at face value, thinking about it, reflecting on it, asking other people for input, and then being focused on a solution for our clients.
Thank you, Ben. Next question. How important do you think critical thinking is for effective leadership?
I think it's extremely important. I think that effective leadership and critical thinking are absolutely interrelated, and organisations which focus and put energy and resources into promoting and fostering critical thinking will have a competitive advantage against others in the market. It's all about thinking about what we do and doing it well.
How can critical thinking benefit the insurance industry?
I think that critical thinking can benefit the insurance industry tremendously, particularly in the area of risk management and compliance, where there's a real need to do it right first time. Secondly, I think it will improve customer confidence. And thirdly, I think it will lead to the presentation of well-considered and appropriate solutions for our clients.
Great, thanks. Do you think critical thinking is more or less important now than, say, 10 years ago?
No, I don't think it's more or less important than it was 10 years ago. What I believe is that there's become an increased awareness around the importance of critical thinking and the advantages that that can bring to organisations that foster it.
Right. Do you think critical thinking is valued in the insurance industry?
Yes, I do. However, I think as an industry we need to foster and encourage and put more emphasis on the importance of critical thinking. And what I mean by that is that the ability to create an environment which fosters critical thinking will lead to better insurance solutions for our clients and ultimately better performance for our industry.
Right. Going by McGowan's definition of critical thinking, what personal qualities do you believe a person needs to be a good critical thinker?
I think in order to be a good critical thinker, you need to have the ability to think for yourself, a little bit of self-belief. I think that a high level of self-awareness is critical to being a good critical thinker, and what I mean by that is understanding what your impact is that you're having on others. The ability to be reflective and evaluate the thinking of others and incorporate that into your own thinking. I think good listening skills are important. I think sound judgment is important. And overall, I think what's really important is the ability to be decisive and make decisions based on the information you've evaluated.
What obstacles to a person's mindset do you think could impede critical thinking?
I think the inability to be reflective, and what I mean by that is the inability to listen to others, and in particular your clients. I think a critical thinker is someone that is focused, motivated, and deeply interested in their client's business and their needs, and wishes to translate that back into the insurance market to get the best possible solution and results for their client.
Good. Ben, do you think a general or domain-specific approach should be taken when teaching critical thinking?
I believe in the general approach. Critical thinking is something that you don't switch on and off. It is a mindset or a philosophy which you apply and embrace in your professional and your personal life.
Great. Ben, what methods would you employ to nurture critical thinking in an organisation?
I think the most successful methods for embracing critical thinking are those organisations which create a safe environment, encourage people to think for themselves and take risk.
Thanks. Well, Ben, the final question I have for you today is, what do you believe is the best method to test critical thinking?
Well, I think there's two angles you look at that, Phil. I think externally you would look at your customer retention levels and your customer satisfaction levels. And an organisation that's embracing critical thinking would obviously see great improvements in those areas. The other side of the equation is the internal, which is those companies that are embracing critical thinking and the people that are involved with those organisations will feel a sense of momentum and prosperity.
Great. Well, thanks, Ben. I really appreciate your time that you've given us today.
I appreciate your time too, Phil.
Great. Thanks very much.